Those you honor tonight put their lives on the line. I merely report on people who don't carry guns. They do carry large egos, however, which helps you get to see them. Which brings to mind a truly awesome man I don't pretend to equal, Winston Churchill. And he once encountered a young war hero. And he said, "You feel very humble in my presence, don't you?" "Yes, sir," the soldier replied. "Then perhaps you can imagine," Churchill said, "how humble and awkward I feel in your presence." I'm humbled in the presence of my friend Christiane Amanpour, who has made journalism her calling. And one of the things we didn't see on that video tonight was when that guy said to her in Egypt, "I hate you, I hate Americans." He went on, and one of the things she did, and her experience shone through, she took her crew and she said, "Let's leave. It's not safe here." She didn't gesture, she didn't pontificate, she didn't pretend for the great gotcha video scene. She got the hell out of there. And you're a real hero of mine, Christiane. Let me begin, if I can, with an encounter I had in 1995 with Andy Grove, who was then the president and one of the founders of Intel. I was interviewing him on the stage of the American Society of Newspaper Editors, and if you remember, at the time, the internet was in its infancy. It was very young, maybe 5, 6 years old. But already there was a growing concern in the media world, particularly in the newspaper and magazine world, that it would disrupt our business. So I turned to Mr. Grove and I said, "In the future, Mr. Grove, what's the value of these 1,000 editors in this hall today?" And he silently turned his head from left to right and had a devilish grin on his face. And he said to me, "Zero. They have zero value in the future. Because in the digital world, I can create my own newspaper and have it push to me all the news that I care about, be it health news or business news or sports news or local news. I don't need," he said, "an intelligent agent." And the editors in that hall just sunk lower and lower into their seats as he spoke. And yet today, every journalist worries that Andy Grove was correct, because the internet often reduces what we do to a commodity. It robs media of revenues because citizens get information for free on Google Search, the Huffington Post, or on Facebook and Twitter links. In so many ways, the digital realm is an adversary, because news often becomes a commodity available for free and whose origin may be unclear. Every journalistic institution, because of this, must ask, how are we distinct from the pack? How do we make money? What is the business model that will allow us to cover expensive international news or dig and dig for investigative reporting? Do news aggregators add readers and advertising revenues because they expose our work to more eyeballs? Or do they subtract from our circulation because they are free? In so many ways, the digital realm is also, however, our friend. It broadens our audience. It allows us to offer online what we cannot offer in a newspaper or a magazine: an archive, full motion video, interaction with our audience, and elegant portability via mobile phones or tablets. It extends our reporting reach by making available to us citizens who can serve, as we saw tonight, as part-time journalists. It's easy to sneer at the notion of citizen journalists, and I will in a moment. But think of what Twitter and Facebook and mobile phone cameras did to report and record the Arab Spring. to expose the death of Gaddafi, the fraudulent election in Iran, or the devastation and depravity that followed Hurricane Katrina. Like many of you in this room, I'm of two minds about the digital revolution. I would argue, however, that this is okay. For as F. Scott Fitzgerald once wrote, the mark of an intelligent person is someone who has the ability to keep two or more disparate thoughts in mind at the same time and still function. Our confusion is abetted by the velocity of change. Consider this. It took the telephone 5 decades to reach 50% of the American public. It took electricity 4 decades. It took the television 3 decades. It took the internet 9 years to reach 50% of the American public, and it took Facebook 5 years to reach 700 million users.